Hello again, my name is Vina and I work as a project officer here at BIZLINK. We had previously recorded and released a short 5-minute video talking through the different employment supports that are on offer for students with a disability transitioning from school to work. Today I would like to focus on one of those pathways called the Eligible School Leaver Pathway, or ESL. This pathway is funded within the DES, or Disability Employment Service Program. So I'd like to start off with a more detailed overview of what the Eligible School Leaver Pathway is. So ESL is a service that's offered by DES providers who are a mix of small, medium to large for-profit and not-for-profit organisations across Australia who are experienced in supporting people with disability and their employers. Providers are rated on their performance using a quarterly star rating system. So according to the last round of star ratings that were publicly released in December last year, BIZLINK was the top performing generalist DES provider across both North and Central West regions with 4 out of 5 stars. So we at BIZLINK are very proud of this achievement and we look forward to more to come. So back to ESL, it's a pathway within DES that's funded by the government to help students who may need extra assistance transitioning from high school to open employment or further study. It's important to note that ESL is separate to the NDIS and students can directly register with a DES provider without the need for an assessment via Centrelink or an NDIS plan. Now I'd like to talk you through who's suitable for DES. So full-time students in their last year of school, which is year 12, broadly speaking, but there are possible exceptions which we will discuss when we talk about early school leavers later on in the presentation, or students participating in or intending to participate in Australian school-based apprenticeship and traineeship in year 11. They also must be in a disability school or disability class in a mainstream school, or they attract additional educational funding at school, for example, ADHD supports. Students on disability support pension are also eligible. Students must also be of legal working age, which is generally 15 for most jobs in WA. They must not already be currently employed in a paid job for 8 or more hours per week. Finally, students must also be able to work at least 8 hours per week within 2 years of registering with DES. And this is something that is assessed and discussed with the provider, not Centrelink. So I'd like to also quickly cover off what you need to register as an ESL, because the more you are able to prepare these, the smoother the registration process is going to be. Firstly, we require evidence of disability and or mental health condition. So this is medical diagnostic evidence that can be obtained from a treating health professional such as a GP, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and so on and so forth. We also require a letter from the school with the school's letterhead stating that the student meets requirements around disability funding or additional funding to be able to register as an ESL with DES. We also need a completed direct registration form with all relevant background information and a signature by the student or the parent. This is something that BIZLINK will provide and work you through. So essentially, these are the 3 evidence requirements that will need to be met in order for an ESL registration to take place. Some examples of funding arrangements within WA schools to be aware of as far as eligibility goes are arrangements like the Individual Disability Allocation Programs, Commonwealth Targeted Programs, and Students with Disability or SWD. There are also others I haven't mentioned here, but the bottom line is this is varied. And if you have any specific questions about eligible school funding arrangements as far as ESL is concerned, please give us a call to discuss it further. I also wanted to just quickly touch on the type of information that the school letter of support should contain. So they are confirming that the student receives additional educational funding or is attending a special school or a disability special class in a mainstream school. This letter must be obtained from either the principal or their authorised representatives. The letter must also clearly identify the student's disability, the name of the school program that provides additional educational funding, and it must also clearly state that the funding is linked to the student's support needs due to their disability. Important to note as well that students who attend a disability school or are in a disability special class in a mainstream school, the letter only needs to confirm enrolment and that the student is full-time in their final year of school. I mentioned earlier that there may be circumstances in which a student ends up leaving school before mandated school leaving age. Essentially, where a student who is not in their final year of school wishes to access DES as an ESL, the provider must meet with the student, school principal, and the student's parents or legal guardian and gain agreement that the student will leave school before year 12 and that registering with DES is the most appropriate activity or pathway for them. The provider is required to retain evidence of the meeting, confirming the agreement that was reached. Additionally, a letter written by the school principal or authorised representatives may also be required. Thanks very much again for listening to this short video presentation on ESL today. I expect that there may be some additional questions that you would like to put to us. So please contact BIZLINK anytime on 1300 780 789 or you can send us an email. So thanks again and we look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.